Mara Salvatrucha, or simply MS-13, which is slang for Salvadoran Wandering Ant Brigade, is a well-organized international criminal group and one of the most violent, numerous, and rapidly growing street gangs in Central and North America. In its 30 years of existence, MS-13 has become a truly notorious organization, penetrating all areas of activity and everyday life of every Salvadoran resident. This gang is much more frightening than the Crips and Bloods, who operate in the United States, because the police in neighboring countries do not have sufficient resources to control street crime. Therefore, MS-13 today has a strong influence on the lives of ordinary Salvadoran residents. And naturally, hip-hop is also not left out. The MS-13 gang is widely represented in hip-hop, and today we will talk about gangster rap from this far from peaceful organization. Let's get started. First, let's talk a little bit about the MS-13 gang itself. According to law enforcement estimates, including the FBI, the size of Mara Salvatrucha is about 80,000 people, of which about 15,000 are in the United States. The ethnic composition of the gang is mixed, with Salvadorans, Hondurans, Guatemalans, Nicaraguans, Mexicans, and other Latin Americans among its members in the United States. MS-13 engages in many types of criminal business, including drug trafficking, weapons and human trafficking, robbery, extortion, kidnapping for ransom, car theft, money laundering, and fraud. Many street vendors and small businesses located in MS-13 territories pay the gang up to half of their income for the opportunity to operate. Many Salvadorans living in the United States are also forced to pay MS-13, as the gangsters will pursue their relatives if they refuse. MS-13 originated in Los Angeles among immigrants from El Salvador who flooded into the United States in the early 1980s to escape the civil war in their homeland. American police and immigration authorities began actively deporting MS-13 members to their home country, thus laying the groundwork for the gang's popularization in El Salvador. The American gang subculture, style and colors of clothing, behavior, gestures, and slang, music culture, including gangster rap, found a favorable soil in war-torn El Salvador and contributed to the spread of MS-13. The Mara Salvatrucha gang members are known for their extreme brutality, intended to intimidate competitors or authorities. The gang's motto is kill, rape, control. Popular slogans among them include, "You live for God and your mother, but you die for the gang," and "What belongs to God, but what doesn't belong to him is ours." A distinguishing feature of Mara Salvatrucha members is tattoos all over their bodies, including on their faces and inside their lips. These tattoos not only show a person's affiliation with the gang, but also tell the story of their criminal biography, influence, and status in the community. The number 13 inches in the gang's name and corresponding tattoos represents the letter M, the 13th letter of the Latin alphabet, and is intended to show loyalty to the Mexican Mafia, the most powerful California prison gang. Mara Salvatrucha members prefer to wear blue and white clothing, and Spanish and English rap is popular among them. Mara Salvatrucha found creative expression in gangster rap, which in Central America has a more nuanced relationship with gangs than one might assume from its name. Social media has proved to be an ideal means of exchanging this creativity, even at the risk of persecution and repression for performers. The gang uses YouTube, SoundCloud, and Facebook to release their hits, some of which have over 2 million views. Because of the public nature of these sites, most of the information the gang provides is open to anyone who wants to learn about their mindset from a cultural perspective. Tracks are released in several countries, including the United States, El Salvador, Guatemala, Mexico, Italy, Nicaragua, Bolivia, and even the Philippines. They touch on themes ranging from hate to love and are recorded in various places, from prison cells to MS-13-owned recording studios. Most tracks begin with an introduction in which the gangster shouts out their nickname so the listener knows who's rapping. This is also used as an opportunity to say which clique they belong to and from which corner of the world the gangster is rapping. This is the case in the song Who We Are by El Terra from the Alaska Criminals clique. In his introduction, he says who he is and where he is from, showing that MS-13 reaches all the way to Europe.
La Mara Salvatrucha está impactando soldados de Perú y Ecuador.
The introduction also serves to send greetings or shoutouts to all the friendly gangsters, from incarcerated prisoners to gangsters in other municipalities, states, or countries. In the first track shown from El Terro, the artist shows this international support, along with demonstrating the presence of MS-13 in Milan, greeting the guys who are incarcerated in Italy. He shows that cliques in El Salvador support cliques in Europe. In general, this is a whole international organization. Gangsters, without exaggeration, reflect their unwavering loyalty to MS-13 in their lyrics, which is exemplified by their criminal lyrics. The message in the lyrics of these rappers can easily be interpreted as an obsession with their gang, which is typical for the subgenre when it is performed by gangsters. Such praise for the gangs they fiercely protect is the main theme, a mixture of pride and cruelty. Their compositions often try to establish gang control in a certain area in order to specifically indicate that it is dangerous to associate with MS-13 there. Thus, such lyrics serve as a propaganda tool for the group. The crimes they commit greatly influence the MS-13 rap lyrics, and the abundance of violence in them can be enormous. Gangsters describe their killings with ease and in detail, repeating in some tracks that MS-13 eliminates their opponents. Also in some tracks, a combination of Spanish Spanish and English is common, showing that the existence of the clique is the result of immigration. There are also tracks that are purely in English. They are usually written by guys from the US and have the feature of better sound quality. But what unites them all is the basic terminology necessary for understanding their texts. As an example, one can take the number they repeat in all their songs, telephone network codes used as synonyms for countries where they are located. They help strengthen their identity as Salvadorans and gain respect. Remembering the dead is a common practice for gangsters. Paying tribute to slain colleagues involves not only tears, tattoos on faces, or gravestones etched onto skin or walls, but also mourning them in tracks. This reinforces the notion that such a crazy life was worth something to them, and anyone who doubts this need only listen to these reverential lyrics. Many tracks are dedicated to the dead clique, which are shown in videos with graffiti photos of their tags. Going further on this theme, it should be noted that there are entire tracks dedicated to a single dead gangster, where several people rap about how much they miss their comrade and how good he was at taking out their enemies. Such a track, written by the City Paraíso gangsters clique, shows that their hip-hop is quite religious, as they ask God to place their slain comrade in his hands because he was an excellent MS-13 fighter in both good and bad times. The police and army of El Salvador are the two main enemies of MS-13. The conflict with these enemies has a logical basis. The conflict with the government is a series of numerous attacks, which are reflected in the gang's musical compositions. In their tracks, gangsters show contempt for their enemies, trying to insult and ridicule them. Some tracks and artists have achieved more fame than others. The most famous track is undoubtedly Mara Libre by Jose Avelar, who is known as El Quema or La Bestia. Recorded in California, the track has more than 2 million views on YouTube, making it the most popular of MS-13's works. The track shows the group's egocentrism and tells of its international spread in Los Angeles and El Salvador, and it stands out from other videos in terms of its quality. The latest nickname of Avelar, La Bestia, is a word that gangsters use to refer to the MS-13 gang worldwide. Born in El Salvador, Avelar migrated to Los Angeles to join the Centro Loco clique, after which he spent some time in prison. In California, he began his rap career, dedicating his music to the gang. Over the years, his musical content became more ambiguous and his lyrics began to move away from the gang theme, mentioning gangs only in a veiled form. His rhymes focused on migration issues and general Salvadoran problems. The place where a track is recorded and produced is a determining factor in sound quality, and sound quality is the main difference between tracks recorded in the United States and those recorded in other countries. Research conducted by the Inside Crime portal shows that some gang tracks are recorded through a computer or phone, which explains the low quality. Rappers are able to record tracks even in prisons. One of the most important discoveries of this research was the Campbell Studio recording studio, which records tracks for MS-13. It is located in the department of Cuscatlan in El Salvador. The studio is responsible for producing and promoting tracks recorded by gangsters from El Salvador, Guatemala, and Mexico. According to sources from Campbell Studio, exclusively MS-13 tracks are uploaded to platforms such as SoundCloud, YouTube, and Facebook. No other tracks are uploaded, only gangs' creative works. Today, Latin American artists in the US actively exploit the theme of gangs, specifically MS-13. For example, there is the artist Sad Boy.
Every single writer gonna feel me by the next verse. Been cursed under, boy had to earn stripes.
And here is a rapper using the pseudonym Young Flex.
Rapping this new trap, so I'ma rack it out. Always find a better day, you know what I'm about.
And that's it for today. What do you think? Are there any gangs more dangerous than MS-13? Share your opinion in the comments, like and subscribe to the channel. See you all later.